It's been a little while since I first got my social media management career started, and it's safe to say that there have been some big changes. There are new tools out there, new technologies, more competition. So today, I thought I would break down step by step what I'd do to get started as a social media manager if I were starting today. And the first question you might be thinking is like, Latasha, should I even get started as a social media manager today? I mean, there is so much competition, not just from other people, but also from robots and AI tools. And my answer to that is yes. I still think that social media management is one of the best entry points into digital, meaning that if you want to build websites, if you want to do SEO, if you want to run ads, if you want to be a content creator or an influencer, I think honing your skills as a social media manager and using that job to pay the bills, to fuel your passion is one of the best things that you can do. It's what I've done, and it's not going away anytime soon, despite what you might think. Listen to this. LinkedIn reported that social media managers are the third most in-demand marketing position by posting volume in 2022. And according to Search Engine Journal, digital marketing is the third top marketing skill in demand, and social media marketing is the fourth. So these are definitely skills that will help you no matter where you want to go in your career. And I think it is totally possible to be successful today. Oh, and by the way, if you want to learn a little bit more about my story and what I've been able to achieve as a social media manager, as well as how you can use some of that learning to build your own career, I'll leave a link for you down below, but I want to give you some of the basics today. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to want to do is decide on your working style. You want to decide if you would like to be a freelancer, if you want to work in-house somewhere, or if you want to work at an agency. And I'm going to give you a really brief rundown of what each of those things are and some of the pros and cons of each. Freelancing is what I do today. So I work for myself. I am my own boss, and I basically contract my services out to different businesses. Most people have a particular niche that they serve. So for me, I work with a lot of tech brands, a lot of SaaS brands, a lot of startups, and I help them post social media content. Working in-house is what I did prior to this. So I worked for a Fortune 500 staffing company. Before that, I worked for an automotive company, and I worked in their marketing department. So I was a full-time employee of that company, and they were the only brand that I worked on. And then before that, I worked at an agency. And an agency is kind of similar to freelancing in that you usually work with a lot of different brands, a lot of different clients, but you're still a full-time employee in most cases, or a part-time employee, whatever arrangement you work out. And it's that traditional job experience. So really quick, the pros and cons. I mean, obviously, I think the pros for being a freelancer are obvious. You get to work for yourself, but there really are a lot of cons too. I've got to be honest with you. Because I work for myself, that can put a lot of pressure on myself in that I'm the go-to for all the answers. And honestly, I don't always have all the answers. It can be high stress. And while I personally have found the highest financial payoff as a freelancer or a business owner, that hasn't come without risk. That hasn't come without sacrifice. If you are looking to make a really high income as a freelancer, you got to put in the work. You got to put in the hours. And definitely when I was first starting, I wasn't taking a lot of time off. So work-life balance can be easier, but harder at the same time. It's kind of weird. Working in-house is really cool because you really get to focus on that one brand and become a subject matter expert. And so that's probably the biggest pro for me, along with, of course, just that solid, steady paycheck. So if that's what you're looking for, if you want stability, go in-house. The cons though, I got bored, honestly. I did get bored working for just one brand, especially if the brand that you're working for isn't exactly like the most thrilling industry. I did a lot of B2B marketing, which kind of has a reputation for being a little bit dull. And then agency, again, it's cool because you do get a lot of experience. And I also find that if you have agency experience and you're looking to apply to a job in-house or looking to pitch to a client, they really look at that as a very good thing. Having agency experience is kind of like top tier. It's what a lot of brands look for. It's fast paced. You get to work with a lot of different types of businesses. And so you learn really quickly. But the con to that is high pressure. Agencies have a reputation of just being a whole lot of work. They can be competitive. They can be, just a lot, just really intense. So the reason that it's important to understand what you want to do, or at least what you're open to doing, I think it's okay if you're like, I'm open to any of them, or I'm open to freelancing or agency or whatever, is because it's really going to shape your portfolio and shape how you are positioning yourself. If you only want to work in-house somewhere, then I'm going to tell you to work on your LinkedIn. I'm going to tell you to go to job fairs. I'm going to tell you to, write a really good resume. Meanwhile, if you're looking to build a business, my advice to you is going to be totally different. You want to build a portfolio, you want to start networking, all of those kinds of things. So just get an idea of what you feel like you would like to do. And then I want you to choose a niche, or at least start thinking about a niche. So niching when I first started wasn't quite as big of a thing just because there were less of us. There were less social media managers out there, and there were less platforms. There was less kind of going on in the social media world. I always say when I first got started, I was writing Facebook posts and maybe a couple of tweets. That was pretty much it in the beginning. Now, as we know, there are so many different content types. There are so many different businesses that understand the value of social, which is great because there's a lot of opportunity. But that also means that you have to set yourself apart. You have to set yourself apart from all of the others out there. And one of the best ways you can do that is by honing in on your niche. A niche basically means an area of focus. So do you work with people in SaaS, people in tech, people in beauty, people in food, and even food probably is too broad of a niche, right? Is it like farm to table type food? Is it vegan food? Get really specific about the industry that you want to work in. And the way that I figure this out is just think about really where your passion and your experience intersect. Or if you don't have a ton of experience yet doing marketing for any brand, where you can get experience. So for me, when I was first starting out, I knew that I had a lot of experience working in staffing. I'd done that for years, but I maybe wasn't that passionate about it, to be honest. Meanwhile, I had been freelancing on the side for a beauty brand and an influencer startup. So I knew those areas did align a little bit more. I knew that I was a little bit more passionate about those things. They were a little bit more fun for me, and I did have the experience. So I kind of went that way. I leaned more into the influencer startup world, and then that's kind of where I went down the startup and SaaS path, if you will. And honestly, industry is just one way of niching. I think that you can also niche down by platform. When you are first getting started, I think it really will serve you well to become a specialist in one particular platform. You could, of course, expand your business, especially if you open an agency or, just get more years of experience under your belt. You can definitely expand to do a lot of different things. But in the beginning, I think it will serve you really well if you say, I am a LinkedIn specialist for personal brands, or I am a strategist for beauty brands that want to be on Instagram, and so on and so forth. Do one really, really well. And of course, you can expand. If you feel really comfortable with multiple, then definitely offer those all as services, but that can really serve you well. And then also just by service. So there are a lot of different services that fall under the social media management umbrella. There is what I would say is the most traditional offer, which is actually publishing and platform management, where you are writing a content calendar, you're scheduling using a social media management system, and you're pushing those posts to go live. But you could also create content, that is kind of a separate role, but a lot of social media managers offer that as a part of their role as well. So do you want to take photos? Do you want to create videos? That could be an offer. Are you a strategist? Do you really know how to look at numbers and make really good business projections and recommendations based on those numbers? Are you really great at advertising? Do you love to run Facebook ads, Instagram ads, LinkedIn ads, etc.? So there's lots of different little add-ons or, services that you could offer as standalone services aside from just the traditional platform management. So figure out what area you want to lean into and lean into it. Okay, from there, you want to build a portfolio. You might already have experience if you worked in the corporate world already, but a lot of us are just going to be just starting out, and that's okay. I want you to charge what you're worth. I want you to make that money. I really do. But you might have to start somewhere. Okay. I'm going to be honest with you. And there's a couple of ways that you can do this. There are what I call portfolio projects, meaning that maybe you work with a brand that you're passionate about. Maybe you reach out to your current job. Maybe you work at a retail store or a boutique and you ask your boss, hey, can I build a new social media strategy for us? I'm using this so I can build my portfolio for my business. If you have a comfortable relationship talking to an existing employer, of course. If it's not an existing employer, maybe it's a community organization that you're part of. I know a lot of my students get some of their first experience working for their church or any type of community place like that they're involved in. But it could also be a passion project. So for me, that's really how I got started in social media. My portfolio was my own content. I got started by making just like random Instagram accounts for things. Like I did an Instagram account all about my hometown, just taking pictures of the architecture and events that were going on. And I just honestly did it because it was kind of fun. And later on, I realized, hey, this shows that I can build a community around something. And it wasn't focused on me either. I wasn't in the pictures ever. It was like an anonymous account. So that really helped me because I was able to tell stories when I went to apply for jobs and pitch for gigs. Like, yes, I know how to build a community around something. And then, of course, I also had my own personal blog that really helped me hone in my skills as a writer, which is important if you're going to be a social media manager, and helped me learn how to just drive traffic to things and learn the basics of analytics and how to connect that to business goals and all that stuff, but get some type of a project under your belt so that you have something to point to, so that you can say, yes, I created content. Yes, I've written a social media strategy, and so on and so forth. And those testimonials are really going to help you. They really are the golden ticket, honestly. Put them on your website, put them on your Upwork profile, wherever you go to look for gigs or jobs. They mean a lot and they're really worth a lot. Next thing you're going to want to do is set your rates. Once you have maybe one or two portfolio projects under your belt, I get that question all the time. Well, how long do I need to do this? How many projects do I need to work on? Just a couple. I think having a couple really solid stories that you can tell, a couple of really solid case studies is perfect. Make sure when you're doing these portfolio projects too, that you track your time and you start to take a mental note of how long it's taking you to do each of those services that you're providing. For example, it might take you, an hour to write a content calendar, 2 hours to get everything scheduled, maybe an hour if you're doing content creation, and so on. So just write that down. You can also use a time tracker like Toggle is a great one. Honeybook has one. And from there, figure out how much you want to make in a year. And then you can do the math and figure out how much you need to make in a month and how much you can take on as far as client load. And that's going to help you come up with your actual rate. I have a whole video all about pricing strategies, so I'll link that. I won't go too in depth on that in this one, but you do want to set your rates, put together your packages, decide what you're going to offer for that price, and then you want to put that stuff onto a website. Create a website. I think it is so important to have a website as a social media manager. And this is true whether you're looking to work in-house or at an agency, or whether you want to freelance and work for yourself. Of course, I think it's a little more important if you want to work for yourself because that is really your calling card. I think it really legitimizes you as a business owner. I personally have never worked with a service provider who didn't have a website, at least not that I can think of, maybe like on Upwork and things like that, which I'll talk about in a second. But in most cases, I want to look at a website. I want to really see what they're all about and get to know them through that website. So build a website. I really like Squarespace, but honestly, there are so many DIY website builders out there that you can choose from. There's Wix, there's Showit, there's a ton out there. So just use what calls you, or you can hire a web designer to do it for you if you want it to be like really polished and amazing looking. I personally have always built my own websites. And the thing is, they really do not need to be perfect to start. You really just need a few key sections, which are going to be an about section. I think that's super important. Tell a little bit about yourself, tell a little bit about the types of industries, types of brands that you like to work with, why you're passionate about this. You want to have a services section, which is where you are going to list out those packages that you've put together. And you can either put your pricing on there or you don't have to. It's up to you. I personally like to have price ranges or kind of like a ballpark pricing section on my website, just so that I'm not attracting the complete wrong client. If they are looking for something that is like way, way, way top tier or something that is way, way, way cheap, I'm probably not the right fit for them. So I want them to understand, about what they're going to be expecting. So put that on your services page and then just make sure that there's a good way for people to contact you. So that there is a contact page or a contact form or a contact button or a scheduling link or some way for people to get in touch with you. Don't just have your email at the bottom of your footer on your website. Make sure it is easy for people to get in touch. Okay, here is where I am going to get real with you all. I want you to start pitching first. Start pitching first before you start building out a super in-depth content strategy to attract clients. And I know some people are probably shocked to hear that from me. Some people are probably eye rolling at me right now, but hear me out. I think creating content is one of the best ways to attract clients. At this point, clients know whether or not they want to work with me. When they see my videos, when they see me on LinkedIn, whatever, they have already pre-vetted me because of my content. So when they're booking a discovery call with me, when they're sending in a message, I don't have to sell. I don't have to pitch to them really at all. They just want to make sure that the logistics work out. So I think content is extremely valuable. But content also works slowly in most cases. Now, can you have a viral TikTok? Yes, you can have a viral anything. You can have a viral YouTube video, TikTok, whatever nowadays, but it's kind of like the lottery, virality at least. So I do want you to create content. I do want you to build a content library. It is so valuable, but I want you to do this first. I want you to start pitching so that you can eat, so that you can live, so that you are building more and more of those case studies and happy clients because it's just so much easier to repeat something. It's so much easier to create good content when you know what your ideal clients are looking for, what questions they're asking. So start pitching. There are a lot of ways that you can do this. Honestly, cold emails is where I started. I just built out a list of dream clients that I wanted to work with. I searched for their email address, and you can do this by scouring their website a little bit. You can also use extensions and tools like there's one called Snove.io that works really well at finding email addresses from LinkedIn profiles. And I would find the person who was in charge of the marketing department. In a lot of cases, if this is a kind of corporate company, this might be a marketing director, a VP of marketing, or a chief marketing officer. If you are looking to work with a very small business, like maybe a business like mine or another coach or a content creator or something like that, you would probably be reaching out to the CEO, the founder, the head person in charge. So just start building that prospecting list and set a minimum amount of emails that you want to send out every day. Honestly, it's that simple. I would say start big. For me, when I was first starting, I was making sure that I was spending about half of my day just doing prospecting activities. So I would be doing something that would get me on a phone call, get me on a discovery call with a new client. So I was sending cold emails, I was applying to things on job boards, or if I wanted to create some type of content, I would make sure it was sales content. So like a webinar, I did lunch and learns where I would host at least one a month. I would host a class for people in my ideal client base, and I would just teach them something. And then I would pitch at the end and say, by the way, I'm open. I have space for 3 more clients this month. If you want to get in touch with me, book a discovery call. And I would do that. The other thing that I mentioned was boards. Upwork is one that really helped me a lot when I first got started. And sometimes I think that these freelancing boards get a really bad rap because, yeah, of course, if you were getting inbound leads from your content, that's a better position to be in than having to apply for things on Upwork all the time. But what people don't tell you is that, again, getting all those inbound leads takes time. And it also doesn't just take time. It takes building up thought leadership, building up trust, building up a name for yourself, if you will. So it's just not always super realistic. So I think that's what a lot of the naysayers, say about Upwork. I think it's great for starting out and building your portfolio. So my tip for either cold emails or for applying for things on Upwork are to personalize your pitch. Make sure that you research the company as best as you can. I know sometimes on Upwork, they're kind of anonymous companies, so you can't really see, exactly what they're all about before you pitch, but do your due diligence and try your best to spend 5-10 minutes on the company website before sending that cold email, before sending that pitch email. Look at their about section, look at their team section, try to get an understanding of who you would be reporting to, who you would be working with. So personalize those pitches so you don't sound completely ignorant when you are reaching out. Another thing you can do to personalize your pitch is, again, make sure that you are reaching the right person. Huge, huge tip. Don't email contact@blah, blah, blah.com. Probably no one's going to see it. If somebody does see it, they're probably just going to like push you off to customer service. And it's not good. Don't DM people on Instagram unless, again, your ideal client is maybe someone like me or a solopreneur who manages their own Instagram. Then that might work. But if you're DMing, I don't know, like Canon, the camera company, on Instagram, I can guarantee you they have a social media manager who's just going to delete that because they don't want you coming for their job. Something else you can do to personalize your pitches is sending a video. I really like the tool Vidyard. There's a similar tool called Loom. Choose one, record a really quick webcam style video just saying, "Hey, Canon, I'm Latasha. I'm a huge fan of what you do. Read about this new campaign that you have going on your website, and I am a social media manager. I had some ideas of how I can make this campaign even more effective. I'd love to chat with you about it. If you want to book a free call with me, I'll leave a link in the email. Either way, love your brand, would love to work with you someday." Boom. Like, just that was off the top of my head. I'm sure it could be a little bit better, but just make introductions. Don't go in immediately with like, "Here's my packages, here's this, here's that." Don't go in with that. It's overboard. Just start by making introductions. And when I was first starting, my goal was just to get calls. Like, if I get, a calendar full of calls in my first few weeks as a social media manager, then I know that just statistically speaking, I'm going to book some of those people. If you can get, 25 calls, sounds like a lot, but that's 25 hours of work, or I guess even less if they're 30-minute discovery calls. The likelihood of at least one person giving you a yes is very, very high. So just make your first goal to book discovery calls. Don't overdo it. As I always like to say, don't kiss on the first date. Don't push for an engagement on a first date. Just get that first date. Get that first call. And then I have a whole video all about discovery calls if you want to learn how to actually convert those into paying clients. And then, like I said, create content. Once you're at a good place where you have a few clients, you're paying your bills. Sure, you may have a ways that you still want to go, so you're not completely letting up on the gas yet, but start allocating just, an hour a week, 2 hours a week, whatever you can really swing to creating some content for yourself, because it's so valuable, to have a library of content that is building up over time for you. And I have tons of content all about building a content strategy, but the long and the short of it is choose one long form platform. I didn't mean to make a little joke there, but here we go. Choose one long form platform and one short form platform to focus on. So for me, it's YouTube. And then short form for me I would say when I was first starting, it was actually LinkedIn. I was making sure that I was posting at least a few times a week on LinkedIn and at least once a week on YouTube. And those things really worked together. I was able to repurpose my YouTube content onto my LinkedIn and so on. For you, it might be YouTube and Instagram, or a blog and Instagram, or a podcast and TikTok. Whatever you choose to do, just try to set aside like an hour a week to create something. It'll really work for you in the long term, and just create content that your audience, your prospective clients would want to hear about. Big, big cheat code here. Do not just talk about things that other social media managers want to hear, unless your ideal client is another social media manager. Of course, if you want to help them, do that. But I do want to encourage you to really dive deep into the heads of your ideal client. If you are targeting dentists, look up dentistry trends. Yes, that is a thing. I know that sounds weird, but it totally is. Look up dentistry conferences and go to those, or at least follow along with those on Twitter or on social media, and pay attention to what that ideal client cares about. Because honestly, unless they are also in digital marketing, your ideal client probably does not care about the latest Instagram algorithm update or, changes to social media channels and stuff like that. At the end of the day, they care about generating leads for their businesses. So if you can speak to that and you can position yourself as a subject matter expert, you will have no problem booking clients. All right, so that's it. Those are the basic steps that I would take if I was trying to become a social media manager today. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments. And again, I'm going to leave a free class for you down in the description as well. So you can check that out if you want to learn more and go a little bit deeper on all of these topics, really. But I really hope this was helpful. And that's all I got. I'll talk to you in the next one. Let me know if there's anything else I can do to help you along in your journey. Bye.